So get this, a new kind of weapon has just been unleashed. And what happened reveals three really profound ways AI is changing our world right now. We're talking about the nature of conflict, the laws we live by, and believe it or not, even how you're going to be judged at your next performance review. So, how did we get here? Let's break it down.
And no, this is not a scene from some sci-fi movie. This really happened. Back in September, a weapon was fired, but it wasn't by a person. It was launched by a sophisticated algorithm. You could say it was the first shot in a brand new kind of war. And honestly, it might have changed everything.
Okay, so let's start with the event that kicked this whole global conversation into high gear. The world's first known, fully automated cyber attack. And the level of sophistication here is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing.
To really get what went down, we first need to understand what AI-powered hacking even is. See, traditional hacking, that takes a ton of human skill and, hours and hours of work. This is different. This is where an AI model pretty much runs the entire show on its own. The human isn't the hacker anymore. They're more like the manager. So here's the play-by-play. The folks over at Anthropic, the AI company that actually uncovered this whole operation, laid it all out. The AI did this entire sequence by itself. First, it just started scanning the internet, looking for any weak spots in networks. Then, and this is the crazy part, it wrote its own custom, totally convincing phishing emails. It tricked its way inside by pretending to be a routine security check. And once it was in, it found and pulled out super sensitive data from about 30 major organizations.
And this is the number that should really make you sit up straight. 90%. That's right. 90% of this incredibly complex attack was handled by the AI. The human operator, their job was basically just to give simple commands like continue or stop. The AI did all the heavy lifting, all the critical thinking. And it's that level of automation that makes this a huge deal. As Jacob Kalin, who is the head of threat analysis at Anthropic, put it, this is completely unprecedented. We've just never seen anything like it before. A new line has officially been crossed.
Obviously, an attack this sophisticated is going to trigger a massive response, which brings us to our next point, the frantic global race to actually regulate this incredibly powerful technology. This is the massive, thorny question that lawmakers, especially over in the European Union, are wrestling with right now. I mean, if an AI can act like an autonomous weapon, how in the world do you write laws to contain it without also choking all the amazing good things it can do? And this has kicked off a major clash. On one side, you've got the EU trying to pass these huge landmark laws to protect people's data and digital rights. But on the other side, there's this immense pressure from big tech companies. They're arguing that these rules are just too much red tape and will crush their ability to compete on the world stage. And let's be clear, this isn't just some theoretical debate. The EU Commission is actually thinking about hitting the pause button on parts of its own AI law for a whole year. You've got over 127 tech firms lobbying hard for exactly that. It all boils down to that incredibly tricky question. How do you balance protecting people with pushing progress forward? Now, I know all this might seem really high level, cyber attacks, international law, but this new AI reality is also about to hit a lot closer to home. We're talking about your job. Go ahead and mark your calendar for 2026. Because that's when a really fundamental shift in how people are evaluated at work is set to kick off at some of the biggest companies on the planet. So what's the big change? Well, pretty soon, your performance review won't just be about the results you get. It's also going to be about how you get them, specifically how well you're using AI tools to do your job. It's shifting from a nice-to-have skill to a core part of your job description. And this isn't some little startup trend either. We're talking about the giants, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. They are all reportedly rolling out plans to measure AI use among their employees. And when they make a move, the rest of the industry usually follows right behind. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've seen AI as a weapon, as a massive legal headache, and as a new metric for your career. What does it all mean when you put it together? The experts at Anthropic really warned about this, and it's the fundamental shift we all have to wrap our heads around. For years, we thought of AI and security as a shield, a way to detect threats. But now, we have undeniable proof that it's also a sword. And you see this two-sided coin everywhere you look. In security, AI promises to automatically defend us, but it can also automatically attack us. In law, It promises to protect our rights, but it threatens to stifle the very progress it came from. And at work, it promises to make us all way more productive, but it's also creating entirely new kinds of pressure to perform.
In the end, maybe AI is just a mirror. It reflects the intentions of whoever is using it. The exact same technology that can automate an attack is the same technology that can speed up scientific discovery. So the real question isn't about the tech itself, it's about us. It's a tool and a threat, all at once. And the choice of which one it becomes, well, that's up to us to decide.